And we are unmuted and live. Let me pass the link to the chat so it's visible.
Perfect, no worries. Take your time. Hello, everyone. As per usual, we're starting. We just have to get that preliminary technical difficulties. That's the tradition here.
And here we go. Chat is visible as well.
Beautiful. Okay, we're 100% ready to go and get started. Let me notify the chat that we are officially live. Let's get this show on the road. Okay, guys, it's a pleasure to have you all here today. And anyone that may be watching at a later time, I know we're all busy on Monday, and in America, it's a Labor Day. So we have a nice 3-day weekend here. This is the first Aquari AMA, and I believe, how long has it been, Manche?
Oh, a long time, a really long time. If I have to guess, actually, let me check it.
Yeah, so while he checks, the main purpose for this AMA is that over the last 2 months, the Aquari team has been working tirelessly in order to finalize the specifics of our app and our token economic model for our token economy. And it seems it has been about 2.5 to 3 months since the last AMA.
Yeah, 3 months.
So I would love to finally show everyone what we've been working on and the progress that has been made over the last 3 months. So obviously there's been a lot of networking, and we're in talks with many various VCs, so we can get this funded. But what I want to share with the community now is basically the token economic model prototype that we have. Not the prototype, but basically the blueprint for what we are going to build. We've worked over the last 3 months. We've ran various models, and we found that what I'm about to show you, along with Manche, throughout this AMA, is what we deem would be the best token economy for Aquari, and to achieve our goal of attaching a profit incentive to environmental conservation efforts. We want environmental laborers and workers to be properly compensated and capture the value that they create. So I will stop with the usual Cameron rambling, and I think we can get the show on the road. Do you have anything to say, Manche, before we open up?
No. I'm actually for a second, I'm busy with tweaking all the stream settings because YouTube is per usual starting to be upset with me streaming at the higher frame rate than I should be, which is according to them 30 frames per second. I'm just doing a minor adjustments.
Oh, no worries. Okay then. So we will be able to cut to the next slide, correct?
Yes. Okay. So let's do it right now.
Okay, buckle your seat, guys. This is going to be a long time. I will try to make it as short as possible.
Oh, and actually, let's update this chat as well, so it's visible. Here we go.
Just let you know, this is nowhere near final. This is still in development. We just want to show you what we have thus far, and so everyone can get an idea of where the project is heading and what actually is going to get built. Could you please scroll down?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, we're going to have to zoom in quite a bit here. So this entire document goes for 10 pages, but we will just be covering the 5 pages for today. Yeah, the other pages actually have, the other pages, basically they showcase our go-to-market strategy and other secret IP and proprietary stuff that we don't necessarily want public, because since this is on YouTube, we don't necessarily want, we don't know who else is going to be looking alongside people that are within our community. So what we'll go over today is specifically all the application technicals and the overarching token economy that we have planned for the Aquari ecosystem. Scroll in one more time, Mache, just to have insurance that if no matter what screen size. No. Scroll, zoom in. My bad. Not scroll in. That's not. Yeah, zoom. Yeah, scroll up. Yeah, right there, and then zoom in. There we go. But then it.
Yeah. Let me.
Is there a way to get partial?
Yeah, let me move cameras a little. Okay, and chat a little bit here. Perfect. It should be visible.
Perfect. It's still blurry. Is
it blurry or is it not? Because it shouldn't be at any point. Let me check the transmission myself. 1 second.
Okay, they say it's not blurry though. I think it might just be his device. If it's blurry, try increasing the resolution on your device. If you click on the settings on the video, you can increase the quality from, I believe, 480 or 360p to 1080p.
Yeah, I just checked the stream quality on my device. It's streaming in full HD 60 FPS per second, so it should be all good. Okay, amazing.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I will start with the introduction. So basically, everyone, Aquari is inspired by giving real financial empowerment and leverage ground zero nonprofit environmental workers. We empower environmental workers through the use of utility proof of work NFTs, while also incentivizing crypto whales and crypto investors with zero pool trading and seamlessly onboarding people into crypto through their charitable donations. Later in this document, I'll go over what we mean by proof of work utility NFTs and zero fee pool trading. With Aquari, we are able to draw in more stakeholders and align incentives in a way that fairly rewards environmental nonprofit workers. This is all done while also seamlessly onboarding charity-minded individuals into the crypto economic ecosystem and incentivizes crypto whales and investors to bear the cost of funding nonprofit environmentalism through zero fee utility proof of work NFTs. By aligning the incentives of crypto whale traders, the environmentally conscious, and nonprofit workers doing environmental work, we aim to change the world and evolve the current environmental industry into one that is driven by market forces rather than philanthropy. Scroll down. Okay, I'll actually view it on my screen because we're going to have the delay. So why is this important? We have a picture here that is a diagram that I've made up called the value chain. So let's pay quick attention here, and I'll explain all of this. So when we're looking at a nonprofit, that's actually my bad. Let's not start with the nonprofit. Let's start with the for-profit flow of value. So if you look at the bottom half of this diagram, this is basically going to represent the capital flows from the sales of product in a business to the shareholders, human capital, and the actual entity. So we have the shareholders on the left. In the middle, you have the actual company. That's the entity that's the job is to coordinate both the capital and the human capital. And then we have human capital on the right. So what's interesting about businesses, if you take at any traditional corporation, anything that's publicly traded on the current stock markets, is that basically your shareholders are going to deploy their capital. They're going to invest in the company. Okay, so they're going to give their capital to the company, and that company is going to, their job is to coordinate the human capital. If you coordinate the human capital in a certain way that's able to generate value for society, in theory, under capitalism, you should be able to turn a profit by selling your goods or services. So this diagram, what it's supposed to represent is with the red arrows, you're supposed to see inputs, and the green arrows represent outputs. If you notice in the for-profit flow of value diagram, What you'll notice is that human capital gives their inputs in the form of labor, and shareholders put their capital as an input. And the company needs to coordinate and combine these two forces in order to generate a product or service that the market deems has value. You sell that. That's what the value funnel represents. And we're supposed to be able to get capital inflowing in. And what the green represents are the outputs from the company. So you see that when we sell our product, when we make our revenues, we're actually able to distribute that revenue back to the human capital in the form of salary and back to the shareholder in the form of either dividends or just the company valuation increasing. Because the more revenue a company has, the more exposure people want. And seeing how our community is Dutch and seeing how the Dutch historically, or thankfully, have created the modern stock markets that we know today, you all should definitely know this. I don't need to explain it. So that's how it works for any for-profit company. When you look at the top now, if you look at a non-profit flow of value, what's actually interesting is that compared to the traditional company, as you see, they form closed circles. The green and the red lines form closed circles. The value is circulating between all parties. But if you look at nonprofits, you'll see that just like the regular companies, they do take in inputs in the sense that what we have are the philanthropists on the left. The middle is the actual NGO or nonprofit organization. And on the right, you have human capital. People are like, oh, do environmental conservations have human capital? Yes, they do. It's the volunteers. How else is the impact supposed to be done? But human capital is still human capital. That is still labor. Even if you are deciding to come in and give it for free, you still are giving labor. Whether or not you're working in a factory, working in a coal mine, or if you're picking up trash in exchange for the psychological value of doing good, you're still giving your labor and time. And so what we realized is that nonprofits, environmental nonprofits specifically, despite the good intentions, basically, the main contrast that you can see is that they do take in the inputs, but they don't give the outputs. The only output that's given out is the psychological value of you did good. If you see the nonprofit's goal is to basically, like the company, coordinate both of these parties, the philanthropy and the human capital, to be able to generate a product. That product is impact, and you sell that impact, and the cycle starts anew. But what's interesting is the value funnel is impact as noted on the top, but if in reality, in some ways, you could also put the funnel toward the left because the philanthropic capital side is the only ones putting in money. But here's the main problem. The main problem is that basically a nonprofit organization, specifically in the terms of environmental conservation in the modern world, takes capital inputs but does not distribute it. The value is not able to be captured by the human capital, the people providing the human capital, or the philanthropist. The philanthropist gets a 100% capital loss. The human capital volunteers get a 100% loss on their time and labor, but both walk away with the psychological value of doing good. And this is the main issue that we want to remedy. The main goal that Aquari is aiming to solve is that we want to use the blockchain to generate an artificial market force that would create what you see in the green lines below in the for-profit business model, and add that for this impact environmental conservation or business model. And so what I'm about to describe to you later on in this entire discussion here is how specifically we're going to create those green lines so that the human capital and the philanthropists are actually able to capture the value that they create. Because the thing is if you look at this from a market perspective, if money philosophically is value and NGOs are able to raise money through donations, some NGOs even have monthly subscriptions, right? Well, okay, well, if philosophically money is value, what you're essentially having is basically an organization getting human capital and philanthropic capital and essentially getting the inputs for free, but then selling that, aka they're able to capture the value they create. Because the people would not donate. When someone says, "Oh, we're working with this and such environmental organization, we save this. Would you like to give us $10 or a month? Or would you do a one-time donation of €50?" And you give into that and you do buy. The value is the value of doing good and serving your own country, serving your community, and serving the planet. You as a consumer give that value. And so the way we see it is that it's not that nonprofits and traditional businesses are existing in two separate worlds. They're actually existing in the same world. It's just that as a society, we've trained ourselves to think that one type of category of work is justified in basically able to capture as much value as they want, but not actually democratize the access to the people that gave the inputs that made that value generation possible. So this is what Aquari aims to achieve. So we can scroll, let's see. Scroll down to the world today needs Aquari. Can you scroll down to that, Mache?
Yes, I did.
Okay, perfect. So the world today needs Aquari because the people actually on ground zero, like the people doing beach cleanups or canvassing door to door, are often not financially compensated for the work they do. Usually it's the nonprofit organizers, not the on-ground workers, aka volunteers, who are paid and credited for the work actually being done by other people. The current compensation model for nonprofit work is broken and needs an overhaul, a new model for appropriately compensating environmental labor. So this diagram I've created represents basically the hierarchical structure of the capital flows into a typical environmental NGO. This is a huge simplification, but I just want to illustrate vertically and visually for the visual learners out there. Is at the top, you have the philanthropist. This is the individual with the money who's like, okay, I want impact. I'm going to give it to this entity, this NGO or nonprofit organization who will deliver said impact. Okay? So the philanthropist pays the NGO, that's the value transfer. Okay, the money's now in the hands of the NGO. But what's really interesting is, okay, the NGO as an entity gains revenue. Your C-suite actually gets paid a salary. Okay? But now if you go down to one level below the C-suite, your executives, you have three different categories of people that technically work, that are at NGOs, their staff. You have the staff that tends to be the coordinators. These are the people that, if you go to a cleanup event, they're going to be out there actually coordinating the cleanup and coordinating the volunteers to actually get the impact work done on field. Then you have the NGO staff that has to do with marketing. These are the people that run your social media accounts, your Google ads. These are the people that go door to door asking for donations. They go, these are the awareness spreading arm. Anything that has to do with spreading awareness. Oh, we want to spread awareness and education about environmental efforts. Those people are in that category. And then obviously you have the operations. These are your office people and the regular. If you notice, the C-suite and these workers do get paid a salary. Philosophically, they are able to actually capture some of the value that their organization creates financially. Remember, money is just a unit of measurement of value. Just how you can measure length with inches or centimeters, you measure value creation in the market sense with money. So because they're paid, they actually are able to capture some of that value they create. They're the coordinators. But then here's the interesting thing is the volunteers at the bottom. You don't actually capture any of that value. No, you don't get paid. Okay? So here's two things that happen is the people in the middle of this graph, they are able to capture the value. The philanthropist does not capture any monetary value, but they do capture the psychological value of I did good. That's why they're paying, and that's enough for them. The volunteers is the same thing in a similar scenario as the philanthropist, is that they receive that 100% loss on labor and time, but they receive the psychological value. When you look at this, not in a negative way, but because, like I said, there were constraints in history with the way we could organize organizations. The way this entire system is set up is to extract labor from the bottom and extract capital from the top. They generate that impact, And okay, the C-suite, they and the staff, they are able to capture that. But think about it. If you're a philanthropist, right? If you're paying for impact, wouldn't you want your money to actually go to the people that actually created the impact? Like, yes, these people are coordinating the impact. They are spreading the awareness, but they're the mere coordinators. They're not the actual army out there putting in the hours to actually deliver that impact. And the main thing is there is a market value onto this impact. NGOs are an efficient machine at capturing value from society. But where they fall short is distributing it. And I don't think it's because there was any issues or anything, but it's just that, in the industrial era, because NGOs go back, this model goes back way back in the 20th century. If we're in the year 1910, there's only so many things you can do to actually accurately account for the value that is created. There was just no way to be able to keep track of the value that volunteers provide. But we believe with the blockchain, we actually are in the 21st century can actually accurately account for each person's contribution and be able to give them a fair share of the value that they created for this organization as a whole. So in short, the current model for paying and crediting nonprofit workers is unfairly distributed and only appeals to a small group of people. Scroll down to the Aquari token economic model.
Done.
Perfect. Okay, I basically will not go in detail over this, but this is a diagram of the Aquari token economy model. This is not the current model. It is the current model. We built upon our current model, but added much more things to it. The thing is, I will not describe this entire diagram right now. I will describe this at a later date, but basically, if anyone has any questions, they can feel free to ask me in the chat. But this is a diagram of the flow of capital to everyone. In a more final version, I will change the icons from the smiley faces. Google Docs only has so many icons I could use. In retrospect, I'm like, okay, yeah, the smiley faces kind of are creepy to me. I do realize.
No, they are not.
But yes. The smiley faces, all you need to recognize is that if you see the color yellow, this has to do with people, meaning these are either Aquari users in some way or form, so yellow is people. Green means that this is a capital injection into the Aquari economy. So you see subscription revenue, speculation, those are entry points where capital will be injected into the Aquari economy. Blue means that the money is currently in Aquari's hands. Because if you notice in blue, you have the liquidity pool, the DAO treasury, and the business treasury. These are assets we as a community own. So that means the money is just within our hands at that point. And red means that this is capital flight. This is capital that's currently leaving the economy. So as you see, revenue share payouts. I mean, we are Aquarians. The revenue share gets paid to Aquarians, but once the money is in your personal hands, it's not in our economy, it's in yours. So you'll go spend that and do whatever you want with it. And clean to earn payouts. These, again, once this is paid out, even though our users will work for us, basically the money's no longer. So red is capital leaving, green is capital injection, blue means the money is in our hands, and yellow just means this is an actual person or group of people we're interacting with. Okay? We will come back to this maybe later. We can scroll down. So
actually, before we scroll down, please keep in mind that this is only our B2C model explained in this economic model. And actual Aquari revenue model also involves B2C and B2G, business to government. So please keep that in mind, that it only involves B2C. And
exactly,
we are going to need to
strategy.
Yeah, we are going to need to expand like this diagram a lot if we want to involve all of Aquari income streams. into it.
You know what? I'm feeling, since we're on this, I'm feeling really good. I'll explain it. I will.
Okay.
I'll try to make it as short as possible. So I'll give you the rundown. So you want to enter into the subscription revenue. So the main issue that we found with Aquari at this moment is that, and with crypto, is that basically you're going to need consistent volume and liquidity if you want an economy to work. Okay, you need to be able to have consistent trading volume because our entire model depends on consistent trading volume. So months ago, Macha and I thought, okay, how can you ensure consistent trading volume? And when doing our market research, we discovered that a lot of NGOs, especially the ones in Europe, actually earn a lot of their revenue. Apparently, there was a study where 62% of NGO, aside from the really, really huge one, like I'm just talking about your average impact organization, they earn on average 62% of their revenues from subscriptions. And what was very interesting about that is subscription. That's really interesting because in tech, the predominant business model is what is called software as a service. The idea that you have a tech software or a service that you're able to provide either to consumers or to businesses, and it provides enough value that warrants them to pay a monthly subscription. So on the consumer end, this looks like Netflix, Spotify, if you're in America, Amazon. I don't know what monthly subscriptions are common in Europe, but this is, as a consumer, hey, if I pay this $9.99 a month, I can actually listen to any song that's ever been published. Yeah, that's a steal. That's a value to me. I will pay it. Or Netflix. Oh, I can watch any, not so much anymore, but you get it. I can watch my favorite movies anytime or just pay a subscription. That's enough value for me. Sure, I'll pay. And basically by providing that service, these companies are able to extract value from an ever-growing segment of the population. And so what I realized is that, okay, well, this is interesting because in Web3, what we need is consistent transaction volume in order to actually maintain price stability. And in SaaS, there's a figure called MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue. So this is basically every month when you add up your subscription, the amount of subscribers, your user base, and multiply that by the amount of people subscribing. That's your recurring revenue because you lock them into a subscription, you're going to have them month after month. And the biggest issue with crypto that we found is that a lot of things are dependent on speculative value right now. This is why the volatility is so huge. In bear markets, liquidity dries up, but in bull markets, liquidity is here. Everyone wants to get rich, and everyone sees their friends getting rich, so everyone buys. But when that liquidity dries up, when the bear comes, no one's getting rich anymore. But see, that's the thing. Right now, the crypto market is driven by speculation. People are trying to seek riches. That's why people are trading crypto. People aren't trading crypto as a result of consumer demand yet. That will come in the future, but as of right now, that person that's paying a Spotify subscription, they want to listen to that music. That's consumer demand. That's being met. That money is coming out regardless. In crypto, you'd be hard pressed to find a similar business that taps into consumer demand. And so what we found is that, well, wait a second, environmental organizations, if you're able to create a reputable environmental org that actually delivers impact, that gives you the right to actually go and charge monthly subscriptions, so long as you are delivering that value. And what we found is that, well, wait a second, if you could do subscriptions, then you can make a SaaS business out of this, the software as a service tech business, I said. And the reason venture capitalists like SaaS is because historically, you actually are able to predict your revenues. You know that if you have this subscriber base and your churn rate is the amount of people that are unsubscribing in any given month, you're going to know that, hey, we made 100K in revenue this month. If our churn rate is 1%, then if we don't meet the sales margins, the sales goals for this month, then we're going to have about $99,000 revenue for the next month. But do you see, this is predictable. You're able to actually run a business off of this and pivot and actually able to hire people sustainably. So this basically is a good foundation to actually scale. A venture capitalist can come in and inject extra capital into that machine, and the company will just scale. And everything can be predictable. Everyone can run calculations and math, and everyone in finance is happy. In crypto, that is, in its current state, that is like, you cannot get that certainty. You might be getting users now, but you don't know if you're getting them tomorrow. And so what we found is that, okay, what if we could create an environmental org, you're able to charge subscriptions, but then we actually deliver that value. Here's what's interesting. What's interesting is that instead of like saying we just charge you, $10 a month or whatever, and you just take it from you, what if we sell it as a subscription, but the subscription is actually the person buying the token? Okay? And we realize that in order to achieve this, you cannot use MetaMask. The consumer is not going to, you need to be able to make a quick sell. If when environmental organizations sell to you, it's not a 5-hour process. The pitch is only about a minute. And they will engage a conversation for about 5 minutes. And either within that time, if you're going to donate or if you're not going to donate. And so what we realize is that, okay, with Aquari to tap into this market, we actually have to basically cut the user experience to actually buy the coin and actually get on board into our ecosystem from the amount of hours it takes right now. It's suitable for crypto enthusiasts, but for regular consumers, that's not going to be good. We need to cut that from the hours that it takes now, even days, to get familiar and condense that entire experience, at least to get the subscription, to make the sale within under 5 minutes. And then properly onboard them throughout the day, check home. But here's the thing. What we realize is that if we're able to charge subscriptions, and what's happening is the consumer is like, okay, I'm spending X amount of dollars a month to help the environment. I'm doing my part, right? But what's happening in the back end is they open the Aquari app, they have an account, they're able to do the subscription. There's a custodial wallet that will handle for them, so everything's easy. It can be as easy as buying something on using any mobile app. What ends up happening on the back end is that if we're actually buying the token underneath, is that the individual does not lose their money. If an environmental org comes out to you and says, we would like $20 right now, we do this work. Would you like to support us? That you're going to lose $20. But the interesting thing about Aquari, when you look at it from that consumer perspective, is that what's going to happen is, I'll go over the fees in a second, but it's like, okay, and just let you know, right now the fee numbers are just placeholders. The final fees will come out later. But we know that it's either going to be between 5% or 10%, our current fee right now. I'll go over this in a second. Let's say you have a 5% fee. Traditionally you're going to lose $20. But if Aquari was to make the same pitch to you, when you buy Aquari, what's going to happen is, if you ever take it, let's say you're doing $10, okay? You're going to lose 50 cents. That's the 5%. Okay, so 50%, that's going to go through all this entire tokenomic system. But then your $9.50 are going to be converted into Aquari. You did not lose your $10. You're simply just converting your $10 from dollar form into Aquari cryptocurrency form. You won't feel like it. You'll just feel like, okay, my money is in Aquari, whatever that means. But what's actually happening is, no, your asset has just changed value. But do you see, here's the thing. When this goes through our system now, what ends up happening is, since this person has committed to a subscription, the biggest issue in crypto is, okay, if I'm going to make an investment, I want to ensure that there is liquidity for tomorrow. But if Aquari is able to make an environmental subscription, whether the person pays $1, $5 a month, $10, what happens is something magical. What happens is we just not only got liquidity for today, but we got a commitment of liquidity for the future. What that means is, okay, we got our $10 now, but then we get our $10 the next month, and next month, and the next month. And so what's interesting is that MRR value, I said, your monthly recurring revenue, turns into something magical. Your MRR actually becomes a price floor. Because the thing is, the consumer is going to buy a query. They want to commit $10, $5, whatever they want monthly to help the environment. They are not price sensitive. Okay? They're not. Because when you have a subscription, what's happening is the consumer is actually dollar cost averaging. So our goal is we want to create an army of consumers who just, with environmental conservation orgs, they want to commit X amount of money each month. We want to offer that same thing to them, provide the value for that. But what happens for our economic system is we essentially have, every time we make a sale, we have a commitment of people that are dollar cost averaging. And what's interesting about dollar cost averaging is in the short term, the price might be volatile. But so long as the value generation of the protocol is positive in the long term, if you dollar cost average, you will always make a yield. And so when we made that realization, we realized we had to actually build upon this even further. So the way the token economy works is what I've said is the subscription revenue. These are the green arrows. What happens is there's a 2% fee that goes to the acquired business treasury. And then there's basically the money goes into liquidity pool, and then the fee goes into the DAO treasury and whatnot. But I won't go into details because I've talked so long about this, but this entire diagram talks about the distribution of fees and what goes to revenue share, what goes to clean to earn, and how this entire cycle allows us to actually create value and sell to the customer to keep this cycle going. So, but here's the thing. Let's scroll down. So are you at the Aquari token economy was developed to solve two problems, Majay?
Yeah, before we scroll down, because you went into very very much detail about this entire model that is visible here, and at the first view, it's the basic problem that it's with this model is that when you calculate the speculation and subscription revenue going in, and then also add all the operation we do and all the cleanups and all the operation costs we do, it's going to end up being net negative. So it is always going to we are all, with this model we see here, it is always going to be net negative. And since we are Cameron, later in the presentation, is there a place for B2C? I mean B2B and B2G, or am I speaking too soon about
I've mentioned B2B, B2G, but they're not in detail. Mm-hmm. So you would have to go off the mind for that.
Okay, yeah, it's absolutely fine. So and this is exactly where B2B and B2G, which I've explained the meanings of those shortcuts in the chat, come to place. This is where the real revenue that's going to bring the value up and keep bringing the value up is going to happen. And this is how we plan to keep the Aquari value going up, and how we plan to provide the investors with actual value and benefits coming from Aquari. And you can go on.
I'll continue. So along with the B2G and the B2B monetization strategy, I will actually be reviewing Aquari's NFT plan, and then that's coming up. And so that's also, like you say, this economy right now is just net negative, because there's a second module that plugs into this. And you'll see this is where the actual capital comes in conjunction with what Mache said.
Yeah, but we shared a little bit about B2B recently, talking about the carbon credits and all the waste management we plan to do. But I don't think we are going to go into too much detail about this in the current presentation. We are just sort of, a preview. What's the
we're
word?
walking you through the journey we've had over the last few months to build
exactly. So so we are sort of previewing what's going to happen with the revenue model and the token economy in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to
scroll
down
to the Aquari token economy created. Can you just scroll down to that?
Mm-hmm, I did.
Okay. So this token economy was created to solve two problems. There are problems. Is that crypto whales want exposure to safe and sustainable yields. What does this mean? Like, this just means they want to gain exposure to DeFi protocols that extract their value from their customers from consumer value instead of speculative value. Because if it's consumer demand backing it, it's going to be a safe place to deploy. Speculation dries up all overnight. Number two, environmental workers and volunteers are currently not able to capture any of the value that their labor provides for the greater economy. So when I talk more, I want you to realize that what I'm about to explain with our NFT plan, the goal is to be able to incentivize crypto whales and environmental workers to actually come together and mutually benefit off of each other symbiotically. So in order to remedy this problem, the Aquari development team decided to create a crypto economic system which combines a tokenized SaaS business model with proof of work utility NFTs. Merging the famous Web2 SaaS revenue model with Web3 tokenization results in a beautiful way for Web3 native environmental conservation organizations such as Aquari to properly capture and democratize the access to the value it creates. And then since 45% of the current market for donations are currently sold as subscriptions, this means that Aquari can sell its tokens to the consumer in the form of a subscription model, as I said earlier. By getting the consumer to commit to purchasing tokens through monthly subscriptions. Okay, I'll skip this. I actually said that. So, yes. So basically we said when Aquari sells environmental subscriptions to the public, we not only get liquidity today, but we get a commitment of liquidity for the future. If someone completes their full subscription, they will have no exit fee at the end. That's the one key thing I want you to read. That basically, we're still going to have the entry fees. 5%, you're still going to have, let's call it 5%. In this future protocol, you're going to have 5% entry, 5% exit. Okay? That's fixed. However, if you do a subscription, say, and then when I mean subscription, it's not like there's going to be a fixed amount. The reality is we will allow people to commit whatever they feel. Whether they want to commit $1 a month, that's fine. $12 a month, that's fine. 100, 20, whatever number they want. But they have to commit, they have to pledge to giving it monthly in a subscription. And Machi and I are debating on either doing 6-month intervals or 12-month intervals. But the reality is that we want to create a system where the app will keep track, did you pay your subscription for the duration? So say, let's do 6 months. If you did 6 months, say you put in $5, okay, if you do $5 6 months consecutively, you will actually be able to exit from the protocol with no fees. So whatever profits you make, your reward for actually providing that liquidity for 6 months is, your reward for that is that you actually get to exit with no fee. The core of the Aquari token economy is our staking pool, which is the 5% fee on deposits and withdrawals. So right now, the smart contract that we have, the fees are embedded in the smart contract, and this causes issues because, as we know, when you try to buy on AquaSwap, the slippage can be too much and whatnot, and then anyone that wants to transfer coins has to be subject to this fee. We realize this is not an efficient way to implement the system, so what we decided to do is in the future, when we roll out our app and the full feature ecosystem, is that Aquari, the fungible token, will not have the fees embedded in the smart contract itself. So you'll be able to buy tokens off of a centralized exchange. You'll be able to buy them anywhere and transfer them to friends, but you won't incur any fees. However, the revenue share that we currently give will not be included in the smart contract as well. What we're going to do is we're going to create a staking pool where that revenue share is actually encoded in. So if you actually want to earn yield on your Aquari, you have to buy Aquari from wherever you usually get them, and then you have to deposit that Aquari into a staking pool. And that Aquari staking pool will have the revenue share. And so these are the fee breakdowns. basically, if we have 5% fees in the future, 2% is the revenue share. So that's in the form of Aquari. So what you currently get, the reflections, it's going to be that. And then 3% revenue to Aquari. This is to the company, the DAO. This is for all operation. Okay. And seeing that right now, since everyone that's already currently holding Aquari, how are you going to get into the staking pool? If you currently hold Aquari, you get a one-time free deposit into the staking pool. Because you've been here since the beginning, you shouldn't have to pay fees twice. So we would exempt you from that fee if you already have a holder for one time. So you can actually get in and reap those reflections as usual.
Maurice, just going to quickly answer your suggestion. Yes, this is also a very good place to start with those numbers. The exact numbers are still going to be up to discussion with the community, because in the end we are a DAO. We are not going to. We don't want to decide those things ourselves. So yes, if community decides it's that the model you've just presented is going to be better, we are obviously going to go with that.
Exactly. And like I said, the numbers are going to have to be balanced. We're just giving sample numbers so people can get an idea of what ranges we're looking at, but everything will have to be fine-tuned to each other in the final release. So all Aquari subscribers are subject to this fee, this 5% entry and exit fee. While this fee may be fine for subscribers who are paying $10 to $100 a month, this fee is completely unacceptable for individuals who wish to deploy larger amounts of capital. Like, say you're an individual that wants to deploy $100,000 or 100,000 euros into Aquari. There is no way you on such an emerging asset, you want to instantly lose 5%. You don't want to lose $5,000 just like that. So in order to serve these whales, there are cases where this fee can actually be waived, because the thing is the fees make sense, but if you want to get the big money, you have to be able to somehow allow them to enter into this economy with zero fees. And so this left Manche and I with a predicament, and this was what we spent the last few months coming up with. And so this is where our NFT program comes in. So this brings us to our core component of the token economy, which is our proof of work utility NFTs. Okay. Since Aquari's economic fundamentals can be evaluated from a software as a service perspective, this makes exposure to Aquari's revenue stream a highly attractive offer. So for example, say in the future, our subscriber base, Aquari basically is earning, say $500,000 in buys and revenue every month. Or let's say 100K, let's small. Let's say Aquari as a protocol earns $100,000 in revenue share a month. Okay. Basically, this revenue stream is a highly attractive offer because the money coming in is not coming in from people like, okay, this month I just felt like buying Aquari. No, it's coming from people who said, hey, I'm going to commit long term to give X amount of money this month and the next month and the next month, all the way for 6 to 12 months. So as if you are a crypto whale or you're an asset manager, hey, if I deploy my money into this protocol, I know that so long as there's demand for environmental conservation out there, for whatever reason, I will actually be able to yield farm this capital safely. My yield isn't going to just magically dry up. So this is what Aquari offers is a safe place to actually deploy the capital. In crypto, there are very few safe places to deploy your capital because, like I said, everything is on speculation, not consumer demand right now. And so in order to appeal to crypto whales, we have decided to use Aquari NFTs to offer one way to waive the transaction fees. The way that you can waive the transaction fee is that the user must obtain an Aquarian NFT. Aquarian NFTs are consumable NFTs, single-use items, and you can only use it once and then the token is burned. And these Aquarian NFTs possess 5 levels. Like I said, the levels, can be up for debate, but this is just what we have as a okay, so make it easier for you guys to quantify. So let's take 5 levels for now. These NFTs can be obtained through 2 ways. Either you attend an Aquari cleanup, okay, you attend one Aquari cleanup, you actually get a level 1 NFT. Think of these NFTs like loyalty cards. You know, if you go to your favorite coffee shop, I don't know if they do this in the Netherlands, but in the US, if you go to Starbucks, for example, you go one day, they give you a stamp card, they'll stamp it. And then if you come back and buy coffee, say 4 more days, so you did a total of 5 days, you get a free coffee on that 5th day. This is the exact same thing we want to do, this reward system, but with NFTs. So what happens is if an Aquarian attends an Aquari cleanup, they basically get a level, they get to mint an Aquarian NFT, and it's 1 level. It's level 1. If they attend a total of 5 cleanups, they can actually level up this Aquarian to level 5, which is max level. And something special happens when you reach level 5. When you're levels 1 through 4, the utility NFT is what's called soulbound, meaning you cannot trade it from your wallet. Like the blockchain will not allow you to actually trade it. It's untradeable. Only you can have it in your wallet. But when you reach level 5, this NFT becomes tradable, and it comes with a utility that is unlocked at level 5 only. That utility is anyone that holds this NFT gets a one-time use to actually enter and exit our staking pool at 0 fees. Okay? So you pay 0%, meaning if you have one of these NFTs in your wallet, you can use this NFT to actually buy Aquari with no fees and exit from Aquari with no or reduced fees. We still have to debate on whether or not we want no or reduced fees for the exit. That will be debated, and we'll put that up to a DAO vote at some point in the future when we start to clarify everything. But basically, this makes it really interesting because basically the value of the NFT, the financial value of the NFT, is tied to how much the demand of whales in the crypto economic ecosystem want to deploy their capital to a safe place. So the goal, our business plan, our go-to-market strategy is like any regular environmental org. We will deliver the value, we will have cleanups, and we will actually sell this impact to people in the form of subscriptions and scale this revenue. When this revenue gets to a good size and it's reliable because it's monthly subscription, people in crypto are like, hey, I want to earn interest on my capital, man. And I want it safe. I want reliable. I don't want any of this volatile stuff. Okay? Depending on how much like the whale wants it, that's actually going to set the price. Because the thing is if once you have sustainable revenue, whales will try to fight over it. If it's 100K a month, they're going to be, maybe not whales, but there's going to be individuals, retail that will farm that. If we scale our revenue to 1 million, think about it, 1 million in revenue, people want to be able to own ownership percentage over that revenue share. And so that there's going to be a fight between whales to have ownership over Aquari. But see, if you want to deploy huge amounts of capital, you actually have to pay someone that attended our cleanup. So this is another form of clean to earn, in the sense that basically Aquarians can come to our cleanups and they'll still earn the fungible token rewards, but that's going to be tied to the labor costs of, in the developing world. But the big money that comes is if you're a loyal Aquarian and you come, it could be 5 times, this number could change. We'll find a reasonable number to balance the economy. If you come, you get that NFT. But see, now here's the thing. You, as an Aquarian, can either use this NFT to have 0 fee trading early and exit your own stack, or what you can do is sell that on the secondary market to a crypto whale who's like, I really want to get exposure to this revenue stream so I can earn yield on my capital. And so hypothetically, say I have 50K and I want to farm Aquari. I don't want to pay 5%. What I would do is I would go on the Aquari NFT marketplace. find one of these NFTs that Aquarian minted, okay? He had to do 5 cleanups. So think about it. This is where proof of work comes in. Since you need 5 to attend 5 cleanups to get this NFT, one Aquari NFT represents 5 working days worth of labor. Okay, that's literally, it's literally tied, because these NFTs don't get minted unless 5 days worth of labor has been performed, and that's been verified by the organization and the protocol. So what happens is basically the whale is probably going to pay, hey, I'll pay 200, 300, whatever, based on the supply and demand of the NFTs on the market and how much demand there is to get exposure to Aquari's revenue stream. The whale will pay the money because, $300 is cheaper than whatever 5% of $50,000 is. And what happens is that money actually gets sent, think about it, not to Aquari directly, it gets sent to you, the holder, the person that attended the cleanup. So what's interesting about Aquari and this NFT system is that we've created a symbiosis, a way to incentivize crypto whales to actually, we're providing a service to crypto whales, which is a safe place to deploy your capital that's based on the demand for environmental conservation through our SaaS subscriptions. And if you want to get exposure to that, you have to pay one of our workers. Otherwise, you got to pay the fee, or you're just not going to get to deploy your capital. And so the thing is this is how we're able to actually plan on creating this symbiotic relationship. What is to be debated is when we calculate the math, we may or may not charge a transaction fee on facilitating the connection between the whale and the NFT holder. But that take fee would be low. It would be like 10% or 50%. But we don't know. Or there might not be any. We'll have to run more simulations to see if the DAO treasury can actually be filled enough with just the fungible token fees alone. This is because the problem is Aquari could get to huge market caps, but we're going to lose out on a lot of revenue, because what ends up happening is, remember, people, if they do the full 12 months, they can actually exit without fees. So it most likely will be that in order to balance that out, there may need to be a transaction fee on the actual NFT sales. And we would keep that at a reasonable amount. It would be similar to a take fee that Uber takes, for example. Or, well, we'd want to be less. We know that Uber has a reputation for taking quite a lot. But this is how gig economy apps actually work. And the leveling system, this is not anything final, but we're the Aquarians. We're an underwater ancient civilization based off of Atlantis. So even though we're the defenders of the sea and the earth, any society has a class system, and right now we decided the leveling system class. So we call level 5 Lord class. You're the top of the society. So scroll down to these NFTs can be considered proof of work, Mache. Were you able to scroll?
These NFTs.
It's underneath the levelings.
The leveling. Oh yeah, I have it.
Okay. So these NFTs consider, as I said, I'll just keep reading so everyone gets everything and doesn't miss anything. We're almost done, by the way. We're almost done. These NFTs can be considered proof of work, since the only way they may be obtained is through giving a day's worth physical impact labor to the Aquari organization, or through our affiliate marketing program outlined in a separate section. I will talk about that affiliate marketing program soon. Proof of attendance is verified through the Aquari app. We use a combination of GPS plus Bluetooth radios to ensure that cleanup participants actually were present physically at the cleanup throughout the day. I don't know if you guys remember the game Pokemon Go. A lot of people would hack that game by faking where their GPS location. So in order to prevent people from faking where their GPS location is physically, to make sure they're actually at the cleanups and there the entire duration, what we actually use is we use the Bluetooth radios in our phones to have people connect to other people's phones locally in person, and we can create a tree of nodes, a graph, if you will, of a web of who interacted with who at the cleanup, and we can see, okay, there was no way that you could have gotten this key code without being in Bluetooth range of someone else's phone, which meant you were actually physically there. If your GPS and your Bluetooth radio allow you to connect to someone else that was physically there, this basically keeps hackers, like, they cannot exploit the system anywhere with money.
GPS location can be very easily spoofed, especially on rooted devices. And this Bluetooth idea that Cameron has presented is going to prevent that. And at the same time, we are going to confirm that those people are truly next to each other and in the vicinity of each other. Not only, for example, they signed for the cleanup and they spoofed their GPS location and then simply didn't show up and pretended to be there. That Bluetooth precaution, if I can say that, is going to prevent that, hopefully. But we are also going to implement other security measures as we go.
Exactly. So essentially, Aquarians who mint these NFTs are presented with two options. You can either keep the NFT, so you can exit with your subscription, dollar cost average, gains, tax-free. Meaning, instead of doing the 6 months, right? If you actually gave labor, you could either just be selfish and pull out your personal stack early, or you can sell the NFT on the market to a crypto whale in order to make a profit. Okay? And these, like I said, these NFTs will have value because, remember, there is actual impact labor being done to create these NFTs. So they're constricted. It's not like there's going to be a million of these on the market. These can only come on the market as often as Aquarians can attend cleanups, in this example, 5 times. So there's a limit to that. Okay? And basically, whales are going to eat these up. Because if you have to come and you actually have to either come and just pay that 5%, or you have to wait for one of these NFTs to come on the market and buy it off of an Aquarian that actually did the labor, so you can deploy your capital. But think about it. Every time an NFT basically gets consumed by these whales, that's extra money coming in to the protocol, which makes it even more attractive for more whales. There's going to be a competition over the ownership, because say you're able to get 1% of Aquari supply right now, right? That means you are entitled to 1% of the revenue share, the entire revenue share that Aquari is able to pull in. Think about that. Imagine if you could earn 1% of earn 1% of your favorite environmental conservation organization's revenue. You, the community member, are an owner. So the thing is as the subscription user base gets larger and as revenue becomes more solidified and bigger, more people are going to want to fight over ownership, because there's only 100% ownership. You can't make it more. We have a supply. So that's where the value comes in. The value comes in for that competition. So, as I said, crypto whales are incentivized to purchase NFTs from Aquarians because gaining exposure to Aquarius' sustainable SaaS revenue is a compelling option. The market value of Aquarian NFTs is directly tied to the value individuals with high amounts of capital hold for gaining exposure to Aquarius' revenue stream. Whales will compete with each other for ownership over the sustainable revenue, and this competition, along with the mint rate of NFTs, will set the market price for Aquarian NFTs. It is hypothesized that growing our subscription user base will result in higher demand for ownership rights to our revenue share. In retrospect, one can see Aquari as a crypto economic game in which the incentives of all parties are aligned. Aquari NFTs cannot suffer from inflationary collapse, as Aquari, as an organization, has the power to control how many users can attend cleanups. If you are familiar with certain games like Axie Infinity, their token economy completely collapsed because there were pretty much no caps or breaks on how many Axies could come on the market. Okay? And SLP, same thing. Aquari does not want to suffer to these. This is why we focus on our model not being focused on token emission. We want a fixed token supply. Okay. And this is why the fees have those regenerative economics, so we can refill our treasury reliably. But in exchange for that, basically, using the NFTs, we're actually able to control the amount of people that we actually control the mint rate of NFTs. So think about it. Say when we start, the price of like an Aquarian NFT is like $300 for that 5 days worth. Just hypothetically, right? In theory, okay, $300, this is what's going to create. If someone says, hey, if you work 5 days at this environmental work, you could earn $300. In the developing world, that's going to create a gold rush. Okay, well, but think about it. So we get the gold rush. People are going to come. We're going to be able to attract talent to our cleanup. Okay, but then think about it. The more people that come, assuming we're not able to grow our subscription user base and the speculative trades, that's going to die. The more people that come to our cleanup, that's going to dilute the price. Okay, it's going to dilute the price if we just let people come in gold rush and let 100 people come in one day without having the revenue to back up that labor force. So what Aquari can do is actually say, hey, if you want to come to our cleanups, you have to RSVP. Okay, you have to RSVP and show up. So say, hey, you can come to our cleanups, but if you want to be paid, we have 30 clean to earn spots. RSVP before they fill out. Think about it. People RSVP on our app, it's going to fill up. And we know, okay, if we go to this cleanup, we're going to have people. We can actually have sustainable schedules. Okay? And so here's the thing. What ends up happening is we cap the amount of people at 30. Okay, whatever rate that the market can handle for the minting of these NFTs, we'll keep that, so whatever price point can be a competitive wage for our cleanup, to incentivize people to come clean up. Okay? But say like now we're actually able to increase our subscription revenue, we get larger because people are like, hey, I love this project. As the price increases, we can actually, if it starts to increase a lot, that's actually a cue for us to actually start to expand our cleanup efforts. So we can either add more people that can RSVP for a single cleanup, or we can start a new cleanup initiative somewhere else in the area, and people can attend that one. But see, now that's going to bring the price down. And so if you're familiar with taxi medallions, with Uber, I was reading a book about how Uber was created. And the issue, for those of you with taxis, and in the early 20th century, when taxis came to market, the issue was that at some point everyone wanted to become a taxi. But when the supply of taxis went up so much that like it outpaced the demand. So basically taxi drivers were making nothing. And so what various governments in the world actually had to do, especially in New York, they had to introduce the concept of a taxi medallion. And the taxi medallion was, okay, you actually have, if you want to be a legal taxi, you have to have this medallion issued from the government. And you can basically be a taxi. And so by capping the rate, by creating a ceiling at how many taxis could enter the market, taxi drivers were able to actually be paid at it wasn't a run down the bottom for wages. They're actually able to earn a living wage. And in that same manner, in essence, Aquari is able to use the RSVP and the amount of people that we will allow for earn claims at any given moment as the modern day taxi medallion for our gig economy, environmental impact labor. And basically, this allows the protocol to be immune to inflationary runaway. We can expand and contract our operations according to how the market currently demands how much market demand is out there for the value that we provide. That way our shareholders and everyone basically wins. The Aquari Affiliate Referral Marketing Program. So our referral program acts as a way to decentralize Aquari's marketing team and turn our community members into our best salespeople. The main reason we want to introduce an affiliate marketing program or referral marketing program is basically the majority of money that NGOs spend is on spreading awareness, aka the marketing team. Because, like I said earlier, they have to have these giant marketing teams and constantly be spreading awareness, because if they decide, oh, we're not going to do it, we're going to be fine, they won't get donations for the next year. You know, the majority of environmental NGOs and their efforts, most of their manpower exists to ensure that capital comes in for the next year. This is why they can't. It's hard for them to scale their impact, because they're making lots of revenues, but in order to get and capture those large revenues, they have to hire giant teams in order to get the money in the first place. And so, as they scale, they get this giant bloat that makes it hard. And this is why they're always saying we need more money to spread awareness, because spreading awareness is the only way that they're able to actually earn money in the first place. So Aquari aims to actually break this cycle, because the thing is Aquari does not have to actually hire sales. All Aquari has to do is actually deliver impact that people value. If we deliver impact that people value, if we deliver impact that you value, and if we deliver impact that your friends would value, and such, and you are able to actually earn money, not able, but you're actually currently earning money because you have ownership over this organization, you don't start to think as a consumer. You start to think as an owner. It's in your incentive to spread the word, okay? Right now, I mean, because our token economy model hasn't been fully built out, at least the deployed version, it's the version that we had a year and a half ago when we first started this project, when we wanted to actually come together as a grassroots organization. Obviously, price has been what price is, but in the world where this cycle actually is coming through and you're actually earning yield, I mean, you guys know what it's like when Aquari is in the bull market. Everyone is super incentivized. And the thing is what's beautiful is that we're actually able to earn money outside of the bull market. We're able to earn money in the bear market with the system, because it doesn't matter if crypto is in a bull or bear market. What matters is that as long as environmentalists out there value environmental conservation and they see that our organization provides enough value to warrant their contribution, we're actually able to tap into their consumer demand regardless of the crypto cycle. And so this is actually a strategic time to actually deploy this, because while everyone else is saying, okay, if the bear market, the speculative value is now here, we just got to wait till the next bull, we're actually able to actually sneak in and actually start going cash positive in bear market. Because, like I said, the value is not tied to speculation. Environmentalists don't care if crypto's in the bull or bear. If we're actually providing the value, they will contribute. And when this flywheel starts, okay, people are going to earn money. But now everyone's earning money. Think about it. Everyone that's owning or paying a subscription to Aquari. Remember this. If you put in $10 each month, it's your money combined with everyone else's subscription money. So the thing is because you're dollar cost averaging, you're going to be earning money. And in crypto, here's the thing. Say you put in $10 over the course of 6 months. That's $60, right? Oh, in your eyes, you're going to be like, okay, this is $60. In crypto, people want the 2x, the 5x, the 100x. But if you're an environmentalist consumer, right, you don't want the 5x. I mean, that's nice, but that's not your primary goal. What's interesting is that you just want your money to be put to a good use. But what's interesting about Aquari is that $60 in a conservative way could say, what if you put in $60 and instead you got back 72? So your $60 transformed to 72. I'm being really conservative here. Okay? In reality, it would be more when this thing gets going, but I'm just being conservative. If you saw that, wait, I spent $60 over 6 months, but I got 72, think about the market for people that currently donate to these organizations. You're going to be, what? I didn't lose $60. I actually gained 14. I gained 12. Like, that's going to change people's mind. This is going to be an enticing thing. And so what ends up happening is when you have an army of these people receiving these rewards, the shills come out, the enthusiasts come out, and we're doing it for a good cause. And people are actually getting it.
Yeah, and also keep in mind that there are also going to be a lot of ecologists and people who are there simply for the idea and not for the gain, and they would simply prefer all of those gains go towards the project and the everything, all the cleanups and all everything else that we are going to be doing. So there are going to be people that simply are not going to sell any of their wallets.
Exactly, because some people don't even want to take, like Mache said, some people are going in for the financials. Some people are saying, "Hey, I'm gonna just keep putting in because I care about this cause. I don't want to extract value from this cause. I want to provide as much value."
And both causes are equally legit and valuable to the Aquari. It's simply that we can give actual earning incentive to people wanting to invest into Aquari, and this is something no other environmental protection agency can do. And like Cameron repeated many times so far, like when you invest into traditional NGO, and then your money is gone and that's it, and you've done something good, like you've seen the chart we've created in the beginning, and you feel good about it, but all of those monies are gone. And you can also do that with our current model, and you can simply invest and feel good about it and forget you've ever done anything, or even donate all of yours, all of your Aquari coins towards the DAO vault, if I can say that, if I can call it that. But if you are here for because of profits and incentive, it's equally valuable to the project, because your money also going to be used towards furthering our goals, towards the cleanups, towards providing research and development, and towards everything we are going to be doing, and all the people that Aquari is going to hire to make that dream possible.
It's all about aligning incentives, like Mache said. That's literally what we aim to do. And so, continue. How this ties into the affiliate and referral marketing program is that, okay, one way is that you can come and provide your labor. But what's also interesting is that right now we're in the era of the creator economy. What's really booming? Social media, TikTok. Short-term creators, YouTube, TikTok. Creators need to earn money. Okay? It's usually right now creators make money by having these backroom deals with whatever company. They say, here's X amount of money. Here you go promote our project or our product, right? And creators, the biggest issue of creators is that they're always waiting for the next deal, next contract. Okay. What's interesting, I'm going off my mind, by the way, Mache. So you're good. You're not. You're not.
Yeah, I was trying to follow, but I was seeing no other point of reference to what you've been saying.
You're good. Yes. So Aquari aims to also benefit creators, because here's the thing. The main way that you provide value in a traditional nonprofit organization is either you're out there marketing, getting the donations to come in, or B, you're actually out there giving your physical labor to actually generate the impact in the form of an environmental work that's either restoring lakes, restoring forests, or picking up trash. It's one of those two ways. Either you got to provide your labor or you get to spread awareness. And so what we realized is, okay, that's how the value creation happened. And so alongside the labor, Aquari also wants to incentivize the marketing side, because without the marketing, you have nothing. And so those Aquarian NFTs I told you about earlier, you can earn them through labor, but say you want to choose, say you don't want to get your hands dirty, you can actually earn those same NFTs through our affiliate program. So what this means is that we actually, on our app, will actually have a system where basically an affiliate link will be made for your profile. So you have an Aquari account, an affiliate link will actually exist for it. So say, for example, Aquari, aquari.com/user and Mache, all right, and then enter his last name. I don't want to butcher your last name, my friend.
yeah. I realized.
So, say Mache is a YouTuber or a famous TikToker, or just a TikToker. He has an audience, and he has been an Aquarian for a year and a half, okay? And he just knows how great and amazing this organization is. We actually will have a system where, using your Aquari account, you can use that link, and if anyone actually comes in, you clicks on that link and signs up and buys a subscription and commits for the 6 months in that subscription, you will earn an NFT. What we want is, I can't figure out the right number, but we're thinking for about 5 referrals. Think about it: five cleanups or 5 referrals, and they subscribe and they pay. They completely do their entire subscription. So this won't be like the moment that they buy. It'll be they bought and they stayed for the duration of their subscription. We would reward the person who referred that person with the affiliate link an Aquarian NFT. And so, if you're just someone that's like telling your friends, like, by word of mouth, it's going to be a lot of work. But say, what if you're a YouTuber or a TikToker that already has a massive audience, right? What you could do is actually just create an amazing YouTube video or TikTok, have that go viral, and all these people are going to use your affiliate link, and you just mint the NFTs. But see, here's the thing. These NFTs only come to fruition once the subscriptions have been paid and committed to. So, but think about it. Say I'm a YouTuber, and I basically I bring 400 people to Aquari. And then they do the 6-month subscription and they pay the full amount. All right? What ends up happening is, think about it. Even though there's gonna be a lot of NFTs that will come onto market because of it, the Aquari price will actually be able to account for that, because we've already extracted the value from the consumers that person referred. So they're just rightfully getting their fair share of the cut. They're not diluting any of it. And so through this system, we really want to create a mechanism for creators to basically earn passive income by merging Aquari with their brand, because they can actually come from a genuine perspective of having a long-term partnership with us without actually having to come and talk to the team. This protocol will automatically, allow them to capture a portion of the value they create. Because let's be real, if a creator spawns 400 new users into our community, even 100 or 20 or 5, that person contributed. There is financial value in spreading the word, just as much as there's a financial value in actually doing the work to actually get people to actually want to buy in the first place, because they're paying for impact. So with these two systems, the clean to earn and the affiliate marketing program, we wish to create an app where basically individuals, you the user, can have ownership over environmental conservation. And like anything, the DAO will be able to govern what happens with everything in the day-to-day operations. I'm sorry for that long explanation. That was the affiliate marketing program. And I will, one last thing. I mean, not the last thing, but for this section, there's the app section. For those of you that are truly philanthropists, you're like, well, what if I want to give money to Aquari, but I don't want any profit. I don't want anything. I just want to give. How can I just give? I don't want to get into all this finance stuff. Well, we actually have a solution for that as well. For people that are purely philanthropic, what they can do is they can actually, through our app, they can purchase one of the NFTs, the Aquarian NFTs, from a marketplace. And there will be a burn function in the app to throw the NFT in the trash, to burn it. It means no one gets to consume it. It means you bought it, and then you just burn it. Because by burning it, you're reducing the supply, and you're preventing a crypto whale from using that NFT to get the zero fee trading.
The same
So what
thing.
happens, you're going to have philanthropists that are like, let's keep buying more NFTs, burn them so that, none of these people can actually get access to that revenue stream. Okay. But then you have these crypto whales on the side. They're like, I want to fight. Why are they so rare? And they're going to bid up the price, up till it's worth it. If you have 100K, like, $5,000 is what you're willing to, if you have 50K, 2,500. See, that's a lot for one NFT. That's a lot. So these economics actually work out. And so the purely philanthropic Aquarians, they can just dedicate themselves to buying these NFTs to actually pay the workers directly, right? Because that's what happens when you buy the NFT, and then just burn it. But that creates scarcity, which drives up the price. So by being a philanthropist, you're actually increasing the amount of payment that our laborers are actually getting. By keeping it scarce, you're actually doing good. You're actually providing a living for people.
And in addition to what Cameron said, obviously it can be applied also to the tokens, not only NFTs. So tokens can also become more scarce and gain value just by that. But in addition to that, some people, some whales, or some even some big businessmen, let's say businessmen, they are doing donation to charities, foundations, etc. for tax exemptions, and to simply avoid part of the amount of money they donated to the foundation or charity to be excluded from the amount of money they earned. And this is exactly where the foundation structures we are currently creating for the Aquari are going to come. And later down the line, when we are more recognizable and actually a bigger organization, and we actually have big structures in each and every country, at least most of them, and most countries in the world, we are going to be able to create those kinds of foundations, or even include Aquari as a cryptocurrency. Because keep in mind, countries and the laws are adjusting to the new reality Web3 is, and new reality the foundations like Aquari create, or cryptocurrencies create every day. And maybe even without the foundation of sorts, it's going to be possible to get a tax exempt and get that the amount of for example dollars you've invested into Aquari, and get those Aquaris for example burned, or those NFT burned. It's going to I'm not saying it to be very, very soon. I'm saying it's a distance possibility that even action like that, without any sort of foundation structures or anything else, is going to be possible also for those kind of people.
Exactly. What's really interesting is this is the kicker. Is, in the US and various countries, you're given a tax write-off for donating to a philanthropic cause. What that means is that if we set up the legal structure correctly to where you can actually burn these various tokens in the act of, and it can be legally seen as a donation, which it actually can, because remember, the NFT is actually the proof of work. You're not paying. When you're paying an NFT, you're actually buying
the cleanup, like
the cleanup. Yeah, you're buying. It is a certificate of work being done. And so if the legal structure can be set up right, where those can be burned, what happens is essentially we have this protocol becomes indirectly government subsidized. Because the thing is basically those individuals have to deploy that capital somewhere to get their tax write-off. They're rich. They want that tax write-off. And hey, I don't know where the boundaries can go, but in the best case scenario, you can have a scenario where you have a query, you have a positional query, but then you do your tax write-off to that foundation, which purchases those NFTs, which keeps the constraints, which benefits. It creates more labor demand for our cleanups, which continues the cycle. You're able to essentially subsidize your own stack through that. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is, okay, you can't do that, but you still are able to have the government subsidization. So it's really interesting. It's really interesting because not only will the token economy that we listed above play the market forces to create gains for all our holders, you're also getting government assistance. Because think about it, all it takes is like one millionaire, multimillionaire, to say, here's $1 million of tax write-offs. I'm giving it to this organization, Aquari. Do you know how many NFTs that that $1 million can just take off the market? And so that literally, if it will allow us to, if we're able to create that dual structure, it will allow us to actually turbocharge the market pay rate for impact. So that's that. Let's scroll down to the Aquari main selling points, Mache, and I'll go into the app rendering, and then we'll wrap up.
Before we do that, I just wanted to add that at this current point, because I've mentioned creating foundation structures, at this current point, we have all the legal documents and everything else ready to create the Aquari Foundation in Poland. What's basically stopping us is we didn't at the time wanted to create another expense, because it's going to cost as well to upkeep that foundation with accountancy, another lawyer, documents, etc. And that's basically what's the only thing that's keeping us from becoming a recognized foundation in Poland. But here's the kicker. It's not possible for USA, but for USA, we have a Cameron here. From what I've read, obviously I'm not a lawyer, so don't quote me on that. But if we apply to EEA, charity, like congregation, if I can say, like a group of charities, and partner with them, all the countries in Europe can get tax exempts and tax deductions from those donations. And I'm sure that if we present enough proof that those NFTs and or even for example the amount of Aquari tokens that you could that this NFT is currently being valued at as a real proof of work, and that real cleanup and environmental action was taken, and this NFT or amount of tokens are backing in somewhat in some form of value that action that was taken. I'm sure we could also convince them that I'm not sure. I hope that we could convince them to also include our crypto and NFT and token, all the actions, all the cleanups, and all the NFTs that Cameron mentioned into something that can be counted as a donation, or even stuff or even cash that you are going to invest into Aquari and get it burned, because obviously you can't get the profit of a donation. It doesn't work like that. If it was profitable, all the millionaires or billionaires would be investing into Aquari right now, just to get on the hype train quick enough and get the tax exemption later on and still profit from that. Obviously, the donation would have to be the donation, but I'm sure we are going to be able to prove that, for example, the person buying that NFT and getting it burned, or buying the certain amount of tokens, that's going to be like obviously not interchangeable, but in equal value to and that NFT of sorts, is going to be, we may be able to convince them that this should also count as a donation and counts toward tax exemption and deduction. Obviously, it's not possible for now. It's not possible to be, for example, a U.S. businessman or someone living in the U.S. and donating into European charities and foundations doesn't guarantee any sort of tax exception or deduction from IRS. But we have a Cameron over there in Los Angeles. Everything can happen in relation to that. We can even very closely and legally connect those foundations. And if there are going to be other countries that have those kinds of rules that you can't get tax deduction or exemption by donating to some foreign foundation, I'm sure in time we are going to be able to become big enough to have people in countries like those and grow enough to be able to create structures to provide that incentive to very, very big players in the world.
And don't forget about corporate as well. That they exist as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really powerful if you can connect those dots, because, like I said, this protocol would become government subsidized indirectly if that happened. So it's time to look out for.
Yeah, exactly. And it can become a government subsidized. And this is also the part of our B2G strategy. And we really want to cooperate with governments. And it's not only something that like we say might happen, we actively work toward that as well. So yeah, like Cameron mentioned.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, let's scroll down to the Aquari main selling points.
We're here.
Okay, so to wrap up this section, the Aquari main selling points are these four things. Aquari laborers and workers get paid big money, not from the Aquari organization itself, but from other traders, larger. Okay, these are your whales, or anyone that wants to buy those to be exempt from the fee. 2, crypto investors get to earn a predictable and sustainable yield on their capital tied to software as a service metrics. If you want to Google software as a service, you can do that. VCs and everyone in finance has a specific science as to valuing companies, predicting cash flows, whatever. There's a whole science to run a SaaS company. So this is why we wanted to build Aquari in that model, because if you combine SaaS with Web3, it's a powerful thing. 3, marketing is decentralized and costs are subsidized by future growth through community affiliate marketing. You see, Aquari will be able to do a lot more impact than traditional organizations because our marketing costs are subsidized by our future growth. Because remember, we get the users now, Those new users pay their dues, and then after that, the person that referred them gets the reward. Okay, so we're essentially not wasting any money. If you think about it, we get to cut our marketing costs super down. Like we don't spend a dime on marketing that doesn't actually expand our user base. We only spend money on marketing that actually does expand our user base. This is highly efficient, capital efficient. And then 4, environmental labor gets performed. We all win. So let's go to the what I have is, this is nowhere near final. This is just, I know everyone is visual, right? And so here's a little mock-up of like what some of the pages of a potential Aquari app could be. This is nowhere near final. We haven't even done the map page for the clean. This is literally just so people can visually, start to imagine something. So where it says price chart, that's where the price chart would be and whatnot, and have your query balance, USD amount. Let's scroll down. I'll go over the different pages. Are you at the home section?
Yes.
So there's 4 buttons, basically. Well, 5. There's 5 total segments to this app thus far. The home page, the home button. The purpose of the Aquari homepage is to give the user a brief overview of the state of the Aquari ecosystem on that specific day. So this includes weekly update feeds from our Medium articles, notifications to upcoming cleanups, and most recent videos on our AMAs. Homepage will educate new users about the benefits of Aquari, dollar cost averaging subscription, and will attempt to funnel them into subscribing, while also educating them about the benefits and importance of protecting the environment and our world. So just think of this as like a hub. You can kind of condense and get an idea. At a glance, you'll be able to see what's happening in the Aquari world today. Portfolio. Okay, the purpose of the portfolio page is to showcase the user's crypto asset portfolio. Like we said, this app would actually have a custodial wallet tied with your account. We're building an app because basically the crypto user experience is too complicated. If we want to onboard environmentalists, they have to feel like they're using Instagram, Twitter, or just any sort of regular app, YouTube, like whatever you're used to. They can't be using MetaMask. It's just too complicated. So imagine, I don't know if you guys have had phone apps for your favorite exchange. You know how you can access your specific accounts for your tokens on that app? Basically, those are custodial wallets. So Aquari would have a custodial wallet in the back end holding their Aquari and the USDC and whatnot. But we're going to abstract away all of the crypto. The user is going to feel like I'm using an environmental conservation organization app. They're not going to feel like I'm using crypto. They'll know it's crypto, and we'll talk about it, but it's not going to feel like crypto as we know it now.
I think you can word it even better. You are going to feel basically like using Reddit, not some alien crypto app that's based on some unknown alien technology. You are going to basically log in with the username, and that username is going to be tied to a specific wallet. And obviously, currently planned, you are going to be able to have multiple wallets tied to that account. But this is not going to look like some like I said, something crypto based. This is going to be very smooth conversion from Web 2 to Web 3 in sorts of when it comes to that app.
Exactly. And the UX you see right here is not what it's going to look like finally. Like I said, this is just a good mock-up to get an idea of, just like what such an app needs. You need a price page so you can see your financial assets. You need a page to actually check out various cleanups, see what's in your area to RSVP. There's going to be, I didn't showcase the map because that would take a lot of work right now, but yeah, you're going to have a page with a map where you're actually at the cleanup, right? And you'll see the boundary box of what, the bounds of where the cleanup is in. And you got to stay in that bounding box with your phone Bluetooth on to ensure that we can monitor you and make sure you're actually there. And we also want to incorporate I'll get to that next. So the next section, I'll get into after this section. The next section is the clean section. As I said earlier, the purpose of this page is the Aquari Cleanup user interface. Users will be able to use this tab to RSVP for upcoming cleanups, check the participation history of previous cleanups, and check information of cleanup. When a user attends the cleanup, user will be on this menu so the phone can check their physical.
Cameron, you're cutting out, I think. I don't know if it's just me or... Yeah, Cameron, you are cutting out. Don't worry though. I was simply zooming in on the Aquari balance on the Hello Cameron Clark part of Aquari App, but don't worry. Is your connection better now? No, you are still breaking up. I don't hear you at all, unfortunately. Yeah, Cameron is going full on an AI. Oh yeah, sure, no worries. Following with what Cameron said, the purpose of the Aquari home page is to give the user a brief overview of the state of the Aquari ecosystem on that specific day. This includes weekly updates, feeds from our Medium articles, notifications to upcoming cleanups, and our most recent video AMAs. Homepage will educate new users about the benefits of the Aquari DCA subscription and will attempt to funnel them into subscribing. The portfolio. The purpose of this page is to showcase the user's crypto asset portfolio. Did I hear you, Cameron?
Mache, are you talking? Can people hear you?
Yes. Yes.
People. Just me.
I hope people can hear me. So don't tell me no one heard me what I was reading.
No, I don't know. Were you guys able to hear Mache?
Don't, please don't. It's really exhausting to read parts of that text. Please. Did you hear me?
Okay, they heard you.
Okay. You can continue if you wish. I can continue.
Where did you leave off at? I didn't.
Okay, I'm going to continue portfolio. You are going to follow up with that. The main goal of the Aquari app is to obfuscate the crypto is powering everything for the beta UI and UX. This portfolio will consist of native Aquari tokens, wallets USDC value, as well as any Aquari utility NFTs. You can also check their subscriptions payment history as well.
Yes. That's the portfolio section. And then the last section is the People tab. People tab is
the Clean tab. You forgot the Clean tab.
I said the Clean already.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's fine, because I didn't fully say portfolio, so you did good. Yes. So the People tab is a social tab of the Aquari app. Users can view their personal profile and the profiles and cleanup history of other users. Aquarians can also form a cleanup party or squad. Attending cleanups in parties and squads yields bonuses in order to incentivize Aquarians to hold each other accountable. We don't know what those bonuses will be, but basically, we want to incentivize. We basically believe that if we can incentivize Aquarians to form groups and they commit, they can hold each other accountable to coming regularly. And if we reward them for that in the form of some sort of bonus of some sort, this will better foster the Aquari community, because now people are actually socializing and not just staying in their own cliques, because we don't have a community if people aren't interacting with each other. And yes, this AMA is a bit too long. We will actually make a giant post on our Medium.
Actually, it's possible to like comment. I've been just writing. It's possible to create sections for each part of the YouTube video, or at least I hope for the YouTube stream as well. Yeah, basically what Dennis said, timestamps, and hopefully it's going to be possible to apply them to this AMA. And we would really appreciate if any of you could create such timestamps after the AMA has ended. They don't really have to be ultra precise, because obviously no one is going to watch entire video 10,000 times just to be able to point in time where that exact topic started. But if any of you could provide a general, just a general timestamps or general idea where each topic started, we would really appreciate that. If obviously no one could, we are going to find a time somehow to do it. But like I said, we would really appreciate it.
Yes, and I know this video has been a bit too long. The good news is we're 2 sentences away. So, settings. This is the settings menu. Users can change various settings of the Aquari app in their account. Profile icon. Clicking this icon opens up the current user's Aquari profile and wallet. And that is it. Everything else on this page is redacted, Mache. We don't need to showcase that right now. That is the top secret.
Perfect.
Not top secret because we don't want to reveal it, but just because, hey guys, this is YouTube, public. We want to make sure we're at least fully in app production before we reveal the secret sauce. So everything else is the more business side of things in terms of the go-to-market strategy and monetization and whatnot, all the stuff that, discussed with investors and whatnot. But we wanted to take the time here where we could actually talk about technical ecosystem that we've have planned. So that is it. Any questions? I hope we did good. 2 hours. This is a big one.
Cameron, part of it is really something we shouldn't be showcasing on YouTube, but the part about the do you think we should talk about the B2B and B2G?
Yes, we can. That can be, yeah. But just talk that off the head. We don't need to showcase.
Okay.
You
Okay.
won't be able to show it without showcase. Yeah.
Okay, so the big part of our B2B strategy is going to be carbon offset generation, and using that carbon offset generation, we want to generate carbon credits. We are going to generate them it's going to be I'm going to be looping like Cameron likes to often. We are going to be creating carbon credits by offsetting the carbon emission and CO2 and obviously CO2 emission, and we are going to make not most, but part of our B2B income selling those carbon credits to private enterprises that are going to want to be carbon neutral, which is going to be requirement by what year was it, Cameron?
Sometime in the 2030s.
Yeah, sometime about sometime in 2030s. There's going to be a requirement to be carbon neutral, or you are going to be heavily fined, which was the World Economic Forum latest agreements and discussions they had. But regardless, and we also want to have a big say in how governments are going to provide their waste management services and what they are going to do with waste. And if possible, reduce the amount of landfills they are by simply trying to recycle those materials, or recycle materials that that are going to be not provided, but recovered from the cleanup operations. And government often needs some areas to get cleaned. They often need some contractors to provide some services, even environmental services for them. And we plan to be one of those companies who can provide such services. And with the DAO community, I think it's going to be much simpler than it is for most companies, because those companies need to provide like monthly salaries for their employees, because otherwise who would want to work for them? But with Aquari, we have other incentive. We have incentive that can be bounty-like, and even the NFTs that Cameron mentioned. If you gather enough, you can get the not the yeah the I like the English word. You are not going to be taxed. You are not going to be taxed when you can use that NFT. So it's also going to be very, very big incentive for some people to join our operations. And this is something, at least I hope so, is going to be our main advantage. Now, not the even main advantage. It's something that's are going to put us in front of all the other environmental protection agencies, organizations, and charities. And this is going to allow us to even reward all the people who are going to, because obviously there are charities as well who have volunteers, and we are going to be able to actually provide value to the people attending our cleanups, and not only have a free labor force, or become a waste management company with basically monthly salaries and everything else included, and very high maintenance costs and all of that. And this is the biggest power of DAOs in crypto space, I think.
The main value add that Aquari has, that we are creating a decentralized labor force. And as Mache said earlier, once you have a decentralized labor force that's subsidized and paid for by the public, okay, because that's literally what our economic system incentivizes, we can leverage this labor force to do many things. On the B2G side, like Mache said, we can secure government contracts because they need to look for subcontractors to perform impact or waste management services. And then in regards to carbon credits, you see, look, if we have a decentralized labor force, we can have this labor force do what we want. If we have this labor force perform actions that generate negative carbon outputs, such as planting forests or trees, essentially what Aquari is an organization that generates a negative carbon output. And as Machi said, that mints carbon credits, and we can sell that on the carbon offset market. So as we said earlier, when Amashi was hinting towards what are the other ways to actually, because what you said is the system in the beginning, before we introduced the NFTs, was that it was net negative, or at least it was closed. It's a closed system. Where does the other money come? The whole point of all of these economics above, create the right incentives to get a decentralized labor force to mobilize and actually generate value in the form of their impact labor. And then once we mature this network, we can actually sell this network as a service to governments.
And like with all those World Economic Forum's agreements, it's obvious to see right now that the carbon credits are only going to gain the value. But like I paused myself for a second when I was mentioning the other ways, because we are developing and actually researching other ways we can use, but we still don't want to showcase them now or go into too many details. But this is not everything Aquari has to offer right now, and will have to offer in the future. So even with all those things we've mentioned, with all those capital influx ways, we still are developing more of them. And I think there's always a way you can improve on something, and there's always going to be something you can add to your not even a portfolio, but the action you can take towards environment. And if we are going to be able to sustainably provide carbon credits, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of big companies just waiting to sign so even some better contract agreement than for example the market value, because we are going to be able to sustainably provide it to them. And with B2G, yeah, like we talked a little bit about it, and rest of it I think is going to be kept in a little bit of secret for now.
Yes, and if any of you guys see any ways to improve upon the model, please feel free to reach out in the main chat.
Exactly. If you have any ideas, we can. If you have any ideas that can, like Cameron said, improve on the ways B2B, B2C, B2G, in carbon, not carbon. I'm sorry. It's very long AMA for at this point. Not carbon, but the way capital can influx. We can have capital influx into Aquari. We, as a DAO, we would love to hear your ideas and even implement them into our current plan for Aquari monetization strategies and monetization models. We are going to present to future venture capital investors, hopefully.
Masha couldn't have said it any better. The main issue with Aquari, as of right now, is the sustainable revenue. The token economic model works, but you need to be able to guarantee liquidity for future dates. Everything we listed above is to be able to create those conditions so that our economics can start working for you instead of having the downward pressure that we've had. So realize that our sales funnel is clogged right now because we're not able to actually sell our product to the environmentalist, our target market, because the UX is too difficult, right? It's too difficult to buy a query. And so we aim to develop the app, not just because, an app would be cool. The app is going to lower the barrier to entry so that when you're talking to your friends, when I'm talking to friends, when I'm talking to businesses, when you're talking, any Aquarian can showcase the value we provide as an organization, get their friend excited, and get them to commit, take the pledge, whether that be €1, €5, 10, 100, 1,000 each month. And then as we start building and selling these subscriptions, the economic model will actually start to turn around and we will start to see. But all of that requires the app to be developed, which is highly capital intensive, high capital requirements. which is why, gang, we are raising. So that is to clarify everything in the actions that we've taken. But I think we've went on for long enough. I think a good 2 hours and 14, 15 minutes is a good way to
Yes,
end.
exactly 2 hours and 14 minutes.
So sorry for this long AMA, but it's been a while, so we need to make up for this time.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys are satisfied with everything we've come up with, and also like we said, there are things we still can't reveal on YouTube because it's up to the out to the public, and obviously there are things that we are still developing, so it's not possible to simply share them because they are in not even prototype stage or not even in basic of ideas, basic stage of ideas. So hopefully you guys can understand that, and we would really appreciate if you could provide those timestamps for that AMA, because it's going to be a real hassle for anyone trying to get through that without watching it. Yeah, without watching it live with us. Thank you very much, Dennis.
We
It
love you
means,
guys.
yeah, it means a lot to us.
Yes. Okay, Aquarians, we love you all. Thank you. And just know, just because we keep something redacted from the public on YouTube, that doesn't mean you can reach out. You can also reach out to us in private and share more.
Exactly, like there are things that can't be said in public, but we will be more than happy to share all the informations with you in
All
DMs,
right.
yeah, and directly, like Cameron mentioned.
Yes. Okay. Thank you all. I hope you have a good start of the week or end of, yeah, start of the week. It's Monday. So thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all too, and thank you for attending the longest. I think it's one of the longest AMAs we had. I can't, I can't check it right now, but I really think it's the longest we had so far.
Yes, yes. It's a lot to go through. So
Yeah,
we'll end it right here. Keep swimming, Aquarius. Remember
yeah,
to swim, Aquarius.
and thank you for attending it and staying so long with us. Okay, bye bye.
Take care.